And now, Lifestyles Unlimited presents the Real Estate Investor Radio Show. Over the next hour, we unfold your map to financial freedom. You'll learn how to retire through investing in single-family and multifamily real estate. You'll learn how to create cash flow and build wealth so you can have the time and money to live the lifestyle you want.
Welcome to the show. My name is Al Gordon, and as always, we're working on your financial freedom. Yes, you caught me red-handed. We're doing another edition of Tell Al Tuesday, and on today's show, I've got two great guests. I have Carolina and I have Isaac. They're both married to each other, and they are in their 30s, and they are real estate retired. So what can you learn from somebody who's in their 30s who's real estate retired? Real simple. How to get your life back, how to get your time back, how to reinvent your life and take it back to a place in time where you had full control over your life. See, my guests today, one of their primary reasons for becoming real estate investors was specifically to get their time back at a young age. See, they were looking around at society and they were watching people in society work until they died. Yeah, they were literally seeing people work until they died, or they were seeing people work until a very old age, and then they watched them retire, and they realized that those people couldn't do all the things that they wanted to do in retirement because their bodies had worn down over the years. See, that's not something that Isaac or Carolina wanted for themselves or their family. And here's the most beautiful thing. Let me just tell you a beautiful story about Carolina. One of the reasons that she wanted to be involved with real estate investing is because her primary interest is to be a mother to her two beautiful children. As a matter of fact, real estate has given her back all of her time. She got herself retired in as little as 10 months. Can you believe that? As little as 10 months. And she used single family to do it. Yeah. You guys are just sitting there looking at the radio going, she did what? She got it done in 10 months? Yeah, she got it done in 10 months. Now, Isaac needed a little bit more time. See, their strategy was to get her retired first, and then he would follow along. They did this with single family. They currently own 15 single family assets, and we're going to bring Isaac and Carolina onto the show right now, and we're going to learn how they did it. Isaac, Carolina, welcome to the show. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing great. How are you doing, Al?
Man, I'm having a blast. I always get pumped up when I hear that you guys are on the show because, I mean, you have such a beautiful story. I mean, Carolina, did I get it right? Was your primary goal your family?
Absolutely. It sure was. I grew up with a single mom, and she needed to work consistently and to provide for my sister and I. And my sister was 10 years older. So once she was like 18, she was, out of the house and all of that. So it was me by myself for a good portion of it. So whenever I had children, I didn't want that life. I didn't want to constantly be working. And then whenever I even had a 9-to-5 job, but it was an hour away from my son's school at the time. And I would just, leave work, go pick him up, go home, get him showered, do some homework, and then I had to put him to bed. And that's not the life that I wanted. So once we found lifestyles, I was like, okay, this could be my way out. I think I've paid my dues. I'm good to go. And then so we started with lifestyles, and that same year I found out we were pregnant with our daughter. And I was like, okay, we got to kick this up a notch. We got to kick this into gear because I'm due in November, and I'll take maternity leave, and I don't plan on going back. So let's do this thing.
So Isaac, all the guys in the audience are sitting back going, man, you got a huge problem on your hands because you were working in corporate America, were you not?
I was.
And your wife has these aspirations to stay home and raise her children, but she was working in corporate America too, wasn't she?
She was.
I was.
So how did you guys break the trap of corporate America and pull this off? Give me all the good details.
So best part is I'm so thankful that I have such a beautiful, amazing wife that she wanted, and her desire was not to work till she died. She had a bigger vision, which was pour into our family, to pour into our kids. already thinking of legacy at 20-something, early 30s, and wanting something that she saw and said, well, we could do this. How do we do this, right? And the how part is what we had to work through together. So the search and the desire was there. We just didn't know how to.
How did you find Lifestyles Unlimited? I mean, did you just stumble into one of our bricks and mortar offices? Did somebody tell you about it? How did you learn about us?
The best part, it was actually through another member. I didn't know he was a member. I was at a church, serving at my church. And while we were serving, I was just talking to the guy that I was serving with, saying, man, I know real estate works. I just know how it is. And he's like, well, listen to this guy on the radio. And he gave me his name. And I was like, okay, I'll listen to him. He had a podcast, I think, or maybe just YouTube at that time. And at that moment, I didn't see that guy for another 2 years. That was a true story. And so I started listening to this, to Dell on the radio. And it took me 6 months of listening to Dell to say, maybe this guy is not after our money. I used to be a super skeptic. And and I just maybe. So then from there, I said, hey, honey, can you listen to this guy on the radio? In 2 weeks, she's like, okay, where do we sign up? What do we do? Where's the dotted line? And I'm like, whoa, we got to slow down. Let's figure this out. I don't know if this is a scam or whatever.
Yeah, isn't Carolina supposed to be the skeptic on this thing? What's the matter, Carolina? How come you're not going, hey, this is a bad idea like all of our wives do?
I saw the video, and I don't remember who was presenting it, but they were just kind of giving a little snippet and just breaking things down. And I was like, okay, this makes sense. This really does make sense. It's worth just to even just do the financial freedom course, which it's pennies compared to everything else. And why don't we go and really sit down for, the 2-day and be there for 16 hours and listen to what they have to say. I was like, we don't have to become a challenge or preferred member right away, but let's give it a try, because everything that he was saying was just making sense.
So you guys took the plunge and you became members of Lifestyles Unlimited, and you went to that 16-hour education. How did that work out for you?
It's been one of the best decisions we've made for our family financially. It really is. In every way, it's produced results in multitudes of ways for our family. When we showed up, we were super skeptics. By the time we left, we were like, this is the answer. This is how we could do it. The abundance mentality, the community, the education, the thoroughness. And I was like, I know we can't do this alone. So we jumped in, even though in the head I was like, I'm not spending more money. I left a 2-day and I'm like, okay, this makes sense. Let's step up. And we joined. We started with Challenge. We're now Preferred. And that has produced 10, 20, 30 times more net worth cash flow than we ever thought we could in such a short period of time. It's been incredible for us through our entire journey.
But when you guys started this thing, you were living in Miami, Florida, right?
Yes,
right.
Yes, we were.
Actually, whenever we decided, we had the option of doing it online or flying in and going to the Houston office, I think it was, and going to the 2-day live in person. And I was like, I think we'd rather do that. And then we were there. We were sitting in the front row, in the spit section. That's where we wanted to be. And I remember whenever he pulled up a case, oh, let me just pull up a house really quick. And when we saw the numbers, we were like, wait, what? Is that the down payment, or what is that? Because in Miami, everything was super expensive.
You guys got the reverse sticker shock, huh?
Yeah. And we were like, okay, I was just so confused by it all. And then we went home that first night to the hotel, and we did our own research. We were like, oh, okay, this is for real. These were actual live examples. So
you're living in Miami. Did you buy property in Miami?
We did not. We left that 2-day, and on that 2-day, I was talking to. I was the last person to do the 2-day, and Dell ended up teaching it that day. I always thought he taught all the classes. Apparently, now being a member for a while, I realized that's not. And he teaches some days. And now, so he afterwards, everything finished. I said, "Look, Dell, I got this amount of money. Do I buy our first home in Miami, or do we continue renting and purchasing an investment home?" So he asked me a couple key questions, and he says, don't invest, don't buy your first home, invest in rental real estate. When you've made enough money, buy the home you want. And that was counter everything I've ever learned, right? School, parents, education, everything anybody's ever told me. But if a multi-millionaire is telling me the path to be to where to live the financial freedom lifestyle that I want, I have to take a risk and listen to him. And that's what we did. So we lived in Miami. We started investing remotely in Texas. And we did that for about 5+ years until a year and 3 months ago that we bought our first primary home.
Man, you must have racked up some serious frequent flyer miles. I mean, because you were traveling back and forth to Texas like every other day, right?
Not at all. The education and the mentorship really was key for us. So we knew Miami was not where we could go ahead and implement the lifestyle model. So we said, well, we're going to have to take a risk and do this remotely. So with the education, again, with the mentoring, this was the key part, and the team that they were able to have there, we were able to plug ourselves in. There was a few flights that I took at the beginning just because I was super scared. But after a while, I was like, I don't need to keep doing this. This is not necessary. This is just for my own desire to feel like I could touch a property and feel like I'm winning. And the reality, I was providing there was no benefit for me to fly out there. When the team is there, when I have the right mentoring, when I have the right education and the right understanding, there was no need. So we stopped after, I think, property 3, and every other property was from the beginning to the end.
Man,
without driving away.
That is some great stuff, Isaac. Hey, we're going to the break, and when we come back, we're going to get deep into their heads. We're going to find out exactly how to pull this stuff off. Stick around.
Got questions? Call Lifestyles Unlimited at 855-497-4335. The Real Estate Investor Radio Show continues next.
Lifestyles Unlimited members share their stories and strategies for success at case study events.
If you got laid off tomorrow, what would you do? Would you have to be working at McDonald's or wait to try and find another job with the downsizing the economy? Kept on coming to meetings, even with David Fisher online and stuff like that, but still we just like, we need to make the jump.
So we kept praying for time to get this job done, to be able to find the properties. How do we find the properties? How do you find the time? And God answered our prayers, and he got downsized from his corporate job.
But they didn't buy just one house, right?
No, they did not. You're rehabbing house number
9 right now.
9.
Wow.
So every month, the cash flow is $3,200. Okay, the equity of all the houses is up to $280,000.
Join us this month and learn from people just like you. Check in-person and online dates at lukstudy.com. Once again, that's lukstudy.com.
Creating the lifestyle you've always wanted. You're hearing Lifestyles Unlimited's Real Estate Investor Radio Show.
Welcome back to the second half of the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show. My name is Al Gordon, and I'm joined by Carolina and Isaac, and together we're working on your financial freedom. If you're just joining me, you've actually missed a lot. What you need to do is go to lifestylesunlimited.com and check out the radio tab, because all of these radio shows are repurposed into podcasts. So if you miss a show, just go check out the podcast. You can get caught up on the show, and there's a lot of really good information that's just sitting there waiting for you to listen to it. As a matter of fact, Carolina, I think that one of the most important things that you and Isaac decided was the order of who would be retired first. You had that conversation, correct?
We sure did.
And who won the argument?
I don't know if it was really a conversation or no. I'm just kidding.
So I'm guessing you won the argument. That would be a directive, right?
Well, I mean, it was a pretty good argument. I was like, I am with child. I am going to give birth to said child, and I shall stay with the child. You know, and.
Yeah,
So
and you're already balancing a very hectic lifestyle. You're working full time. You've already got another child, and it's just breaking your heart to put that child into daycare while you go about the business of earning money for the family, only to come home and spend, what, 1, maybe 2 hours with your child, and most of it is on things that aren't as much fun, things like homework, and I have to feed you dinner instead of, hey, let's sit down and read a book together. I mean, that was breaking your heart, was it not?
Absolutely. That's why it meant just so much that this was something that we both wanted eventually, and just the fact that we had the opportunity to be able to make this not just a dream and a desire, but something that was tangible and something that we were able to, for it to become a reality. And it was just such a blessing and such a gift from God that we were able to do this, and in such a short period of time as well.
So how many properties did you need to acquire in order for you to walk away from that corporate job?
So whenever we ran the numbers, we said that we were going to need to buy 4 properties. And really the first 4 properties, it was 3 duplexes and 1 fourplex. And that's what we ended up doing. And then with all those doors rented out, then that would pretty much, replace my income. And that's what we ended up doing.
So it took 10 units, 10 rentable
Correct.
units to allow you to step away from corporate America. How difficult was it to acquire those 4 assets?
So when we first started, we thought it was going to be really difficult. There was a learning curve that we needed to understand and do a certain amount of education to be knowledgeable. But once we got plugged into LU and with the realty team that LU has, plus as well as the vendors and building team, at that point it was evaluating, looking at numbers, working through things, having conversations with our mentor through the process. So in the beginning, I thought it was a lot more daunting than it really was. Once we went through the first one, we were like, hey, this wasn't that hard. We thought it was going to be blah, 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 blah. The mountain was a lot bigger in our mind. And we went through it. We said, okay, we went through some parts, but at the end of the day, it wasn't as hard. Let's do this again. And we got to do it again. And the second one became easier, and the third one became easier, and the fourth one became easier. When you build a team, they now started understanding what kind of remodel you were looking for. They understand your type of communication. There's so much in detail that now happens through experience that it becomes easier. So it was daunting overall at the beginning when we thought, oh my gosh, what are we doing? How are we doing it? People thought we were nuts. And we just trusted the process. And we went through it, and that is how we were able to do it. So I thought it was a bigger deal than it was. It ended up being easier than I thought it was.
So did you choose the duplexes and the fourplex specifically because they have a tendency to throw off more cash flow than just a single-family house? Was that part of the strategy?
It was. We had a cash flow goal. And we said we need to create this much cash flow. So we had a focus of cash flow equity. I'm like, hey, we're in our early 30s. Equity will come. We could build from this. But you don't like your job and baby's coming. We have to focus on this. So our goals directed everything for us, being able to put that ahead and then making decisions based on properties to make that goal. And then as we did the first one, it took a portion of it. Did the second and the third one, took a portion of it. And when we found the 4th property was a fourplex, that was the remainder of the cash flow that we needed to be able to get her retired. And that's how we moved forward. We ended up changing our strategy about property 6, I think it was, or 5. But at the moment, we focused on cash flow.
And the result was Carolina was able to step away from that job. And what was it, 10 months? It took you 10 months to get all that done so that you could be a full-time mom?
I think it was 9 months plus then 3 months of maternity, right? So probably at 11? No, that's 12. 12.
Okay.
So 12 months.
That's still an outstanding result.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you should be excited about that. I mean, gosh,
Yeah.
You got your wife retired in a year, dude. Most people are working their fingers to the bones trying to figure this retirement thing out, and the wife's working her fingers to the bone, and they're not getting anywhere closer to retirement, let alone having a lifestyle. And you guys nailed it in a year. I think that's we need to open up the heavens and have the angels sing, because this is a beautiful result.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. That's how it felt, right?
Yeah. Did it feel like that? Carolina, really?
Absolutely. It really did. It really did. And then not just that was our goal. It was also to just be able to buy our time back for our family, but also to be able to just serve and like to do whatever God called us to do, you know. So it was just time, you know. So we were able to focus on our family, but also have the finances to be able to, you know, do whatever God called us to do. Like, hey, if we need to bless somebody, hey, somebody needs help. Like, we're not just going to say, hey, we're going to pray for you. Like, no, we have the means and we have the ability to be able to do that now. And that was a huge goal for us as well.
Man, that's amazing. But you still had a problem at the end of that first year because Isaac was still stuck in corporate America. So what did you guys do to get him out of corporate America's downfall?
We went through the same strategy. By the way, we did things together. Everything was together. We did the education together. I would grab properties. We would review it together. So she was very much a part of every single part. She picked the colors and did a lot of the stuff. She does the accounting, the bookkeeping part. So this is a huge team effort that we were able to put together. And we had lots of conversations together on how to be able to create that. Once we got her retired, we said, okay, what's the next process? So we started looking at properties that will now create huge equity captures so that we could buy them, refi them shortly afterwards, and start growing our portfolio. That was our goal. So now that she's fully retired, I'm like, hey, let's go ahead and start thinking a little bit bigger. Let's have conversations of what equity looks like for our family, and let's start moving forward. That will eventually retire me. It'll eventually get us there. And then that way we'll be in a better position. So we made a strategic move after that to be able to allocate towards our next goals.
Isaac, you are one of the 12 individuals that are part of our single family mentoring team, and you tend to focus on the national spectrum. Why in the world would you step away from retirement to become a mentor for Lifestyles Unlimited?
To be honest with you, the mentoring role is my opportunity at whatever age to give back to the next generation of investors. It doesn't matter if it's someone that's in their teens, 80s, 50s. To me, the next generation is whoever's coming next to go ahead and found that this is the best way to produce long-term wealth. It's now my desire and my privilege to be able to go ahead and share what's already been shared with me.
So what do you think about Isaac performing this mentor role? I mean, it kind of takes him away from the family, kind of takes him away from that goal that you had to focus on the family. Are you okay with that?
I really am. Whenever we found out about this opportunity, it was a given. We were like, absolutely. It just makes so much sense. And to be honest, I love it because he's always home anyway.
You know, say that again, because there are couples out there that get themselves real estate retired. They're not used to being with each other all the time, and it creates a different set of problems. But you guys enjoy being with each other all the time, which is cool.
Oh, we sure do. We sure do. We make it fun.
I think that's amazing. And again, the heavens have to open up and scream, hallelujah. Now, one of the things that y'all did is you moved away from Miami and you went to a place called Oklahoma. Why did you guys, I mean, come on, everybody in Miami's going, why did you guys do that? Can you explain why you guys did that?
You want to take it on, baby?
Sure, and then you can talk to him. So really, really long story, really short. I came to Tulsa, Oklahoma for a conference, and I just had a vision. What I felt was just really a good idea on my end. I was like, oh, I think our family should come, to which I had no idea what that meant. But in going back home to Miami and to talking to my husband, the Lord had been speaking to him, and he had told him Tulsa, Oklahoma. So really, after a lot of praying and fasting, we realized that God had called us to move to Tulsa, Oklahoma. And we were like, God, thank you so much, because you have put this all all the ducks are in a row because we work remotely. We really could go wherever we want. We could live wherever we want. We could, because we're not even touching our properties. And so it just made it that much easier to a very difficult decision, really, because all of our family still is in Miami. But it just made it that much easier that we weren't tied to a 9-to-5, or we weren't tied to anything, really. We could just pick up and go as the Lord called, which was our ultimate goal anyway. And we moved to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and now this is home.
So not only has Lifestyles helped you retire, Lifestyles Unlimited has assisted you with developing the lifestyle, hence the name, that you've always wanted. I think that's an amazing result.
We're incredibly grateful and thankful for not just Dell for the selflessness he has taken on for 30 plus years to make and spearhead Lifestyles to where it is now, but thousands, even hundreds of thousands of our members and community people around that have given us support and love and helped us. I remember before we even bought our first property, going to a 2-day event, another one, and one of the members said, open up their books and opened up everything to me and to us in the bar area of a hotel and said, this is my numbers. This is everything you need. You need that form? Cool. What's your email? Here, you can have that form. What do you need here? This is, you can have this. Oh, you can call this person. It was this abundance mentality that was just beautiful, that allowed us to feel this is what it should look like. This is what community and opening up and helping people look like. So we get to now do that for other people. So since we moved here to Tulsa, we started looking at the market here, and we felt it was a very ripe market for real estate investing. So we moved here in March 2021, and last year we ended up buying our 2 rentals in Tulsa, taking exactly what Lifestyle has taught us and just taking that same process and putting it into another city. And lo and behold, it works beautifully. So it's a beautiful blessing to understand that what they teach and what they show has given us the ability to do this wherever the Lord leads us.
You know, I heard a rumor that your son was overheard telling somebody in your family that they work too much and they need to do real estate. You care to comment on that?
Do you want me to say the story? You say it, honey.
Go for it.
Okay, so our son was homeschooled for a year plus. Throughout the trend, when the pandemic hit, we took him out of school, and my wife homeschooled him for about a year and a half till we got to Tulsa, and we found an incredible school here for him and our daughter. And while he was homeschooled, he would hear me all the time talking to members and having conversations and talking about real estate and just open conversations. And wherever we were at, he was at, and just it was beautiful. It was an incredible time that we had with our son. And one of the times he was on the phone with a family member, and he's just talking to them, and that family member was just saying, I'm sorry, it's been a lot of work lately. I'm working, I think, 2 or 3 jobs at the moment. It's been really hard. I'm really tired. And our son was, I think, 10 at the time. He's 12 now. I remember him saying, he goes, you work too much. You need to do real estate. And
yeah, he was like,
he's spot on.
Lifestyles.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He said, yeah, he did say that. He goes, yeah, you need to find Lifestyles. And that moment was just a surreal moment for us to say, at 10 years old, he's learning a different mindset. He's understanding and learning that work is important, but work is not life. And being able to produce income for your family is important, but that doesn't make you who you are. That's not who you identify with. There's more time and freedom in this world. And if he could learn that at 10 and understand that at 10, from there moving forward, it's just a different way of viewing life and being able to move forward and growing and doing things for himself.
Yeah, and I think it's just amazing that he gets the opportunity to spend much of his waking time with his parents. That's something that society has stripped away from the family, and I'm glad you guys have been able to repair that.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Alan. It's been a blessing for us. God has gifted us these children, and it's our opportunity, our time to put into them, love on them, care for them, correct them, show them, direct them, I also teach him whatever we know, and hopefully the Lord will teach him whatever we haven't taught him. But it's a blessing for us. We really enjoy our kids. He's a really funny kid, and he's got so much spark. And our daughter is adventurous, and we get to learn every day they're changing. And being home with them every day, we're seeing the small changes.
Well, there you have it. Isaac in Carolina, younger than 40, real estate retired, living a lifestyle. You can do it too. Go to lifestylesunlimited.com, get signed up for a free workshop, and let's get you going.
The information and opinions you hear on the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show are those of the hosts, guests, and callers. The Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show is for entertainment purposes only. Please consult a professional regarding your personal investment needs. Nothing presented constitutes an endorsement, recommendation, offer, or solicitation to buy or sell any product or security.